Hi, and welcome to the Let Review video for professional education. Let us talk and learn some 30 possible questions about the measure of central tendency and variability that you may face for the exam. Let us now start. For the first question, what measure of central tendency is calculated by adding all the values and dividing the sum by the number of values? A. Median, B. Mean, C. Mode, and D. Typical values. You have 15 seconds to answer. The correct answer is B, mean. The mean is what most people call the average. You add up all the numbers in your data set, then divide the total by how many numbers they are. For example, if you have numbers are 2, 4, and 6, you will add the 2, 4, and 6, that is equal by 12, and divided by 3, equals 4. Second question, what is the most reliable measure of central tendency when there are outliers or extreme scores? A. Mean, B. Mode, C. Median, and D. Range. You have 15 seconds to answer. The correct answer is C. Median. The median is the middle value when your numbers are arranged in orders. It's great when you have extreme values or outliers because it doesn't get pulled up or down by them. For the third question, what is the term used to describe the distribution of a data set with one mode? A. Multimodal, B. Unimodal, C. Non-modal, and D. Bimodal. You have 15 seconds to answer. The correct answer is B, unimodal. The mode is the number that appears most often. If there's only one number that shows up the most, the data is called unimodal. For example, in the set 2, 3, 3, 4, and 5, the mode is 3, so it is unimodal. If more than 2, it's multimodal. If no number repeats, it's no mode.
For the fourth question, in a negatively skewed distribution, the following statements are true except A. Mean is not higher than the median. B. Median is lower than the mode. C. Mean is lower than the mode. Or D. Mode is less than the median. You have 15 seconds to answer. The correct answer is D. Mode is less than the median. In a negatively skewed distribution, most of the scores are high and only a few are low. That's why the tail of the graph points to the left towards smaller values. Because of this, the mean is pulled toward the lower end, making it the smallest of the three averages. The median lies in the middle, while the mode, which represents the most frequent value or the peak of the distribution, is the largest. Given this, the statement mode is less than the median is false because in a negatively skewed distribution, the mode is actually greater than the median. For the fifth question, in a positively skewed distribution, which of the following statement is true? A. Mode is equals to 67 while median is 54. B. Median is 53 while mid is 41. C. Mean is 73 while mode is 49, or D. Median is 34 while mode is 42. You have 15 seconds to answer. The correct answer is C. Mean is equals to 73 while mode is 49. In a positively skewed distribution, most of the scores are low and only a few are very high. This makes the tail of the graph stretch to the right towards the larger values because those few high scores pull the mean upward. The mean becomes the largest, the median is in the middle, and the mode, or the most frequent or peak score, is the smallest. Among the choices, the statement mean is 73 while mode is 49 fits this pattern since the mean is higher than the mode. Question number 6. Which set of scores has the least variability? Here are the sets 1, 2, 3, and 4. The options are A set 1, B set 2, C set 3, or D set 4. You have 15 seconds to answer. The correct answer is D, set 4. Variability tells us how spread out or different the data values are from each other. If the numbers are close together, it means there is a low variability. If the numbers are far apart, it means it has high variability. Range is the simplest way to measure variability because this shows us how far the data stretch from the smallest value to the largest value. The formula is highest value minus lowest value, then you get the range. For the set 1, the highest value is 20, while the lowest is 0. To get the range, 20 minus 0 is equals to 20. For set 2, the highest is 55 minus lowest 25. The answer is 30. For the set 3, the highest is 20 and the lowest is 0. Then the range is 20. For the set 4, the highest is 505 while the lowest is 501. The range is 4. So by range alone, set 4 or the range 4 is clearly the least spread out. Set 4 has the smallest range of 4, meaning it has the least variability among all the sets.
Question number 7. What does it mean if student Peter get a 60% percentile rank in class? A. He scored better than 60% of the class. B. He scored less than 60% of the class. C. He got 60% of the class test items correct. Letter D. He ranked 60th in the class. You have 15 seconds. The correct answer is A. He scored better than 60% of the class. If Peter has 60 percentile rank, it means his score is higher than 60 of his classmates and lower than the remaining 40%. It does not mean he got 60% of the test items correct or that he is literally ranked in 60th in class, but simply that his performance is above the group. For question number 8, which measure of central tendency identifies the value that appears most frequently in a data set? A. Mean, B. Median, C. Mode, D. Average. You have 15 seconds to answer. The correct answer is C. Mode. The mode is the number that shows up the most in a list. It's useful when you want to know what's most common. Example, if your scores are 2, 4, 4, 4, 5, 6, the mode is 4 because it appears more than the any other number. More than the any other number. For number 9 question, what should be done with a test item whose difficulty index is 0.8? A. Reject it. B. Revise it. C. Retain it. D. Give more weight to it. You have 15 seconds to answer. The correct answer is A. The correct answer is A, rejected. A difficulty index of 0.98 means that 98% of students answered the item correctly. It should be rejected since it cannot distinguish between high and low performers.
For the number 10 question, if quartile deviation is to median, what is to mean? A. Standard deviation, B. Mode, C. Range, D. Variance. You have 15 seconds and your time starts now. The correct answer is A. Standard deviation. In statistics, we use different measures of variability depending on which measure of central tendency we are using. When we use the mean or the average, we use standard deviation as the measure of spread. Standard deviation tells us how far the values from the mean on average. Both mean and standard deviation are sensitive to every value in the distribution, including very high or very low scores. So the correct relationship is median to quartile deviation and mean to standard deviation. For the 11th question, Ms. Cortez administered a test to her class and the result is positively skewed. What kind of test do you think Ms. Cortez gave to her pupils? A. Post-test, B. Pre-test, C. Mastery test, D. Criterion reference test. You have 15 seconds. For the 11th question, Ms. Cortez administered a test to her class and the result is positively skewed. What kind of test do you think Ms. Cortez gave to her pupils? A. Post-test, B. Pre-test, C. Mastery test, D. Criterion reference test. You have 15 seconds. For the 11th question, Ms. Cortez administered a test to her class and the result is positively skewed. What kind of test do you think Ms. Cortez gave to her pupils? A. Post-test, B. Pre-test, C. Mastery test, D. Criterion reference test. You have 15 seconds. For the 11th question, Ms. Cortez administered a test to her class and the result is positively skewed. What kind of test do you think Ms. Cortez gave to her pupils? A. Post-test, B. Pre-test, C. Mastery test, D. Criterion reference test. You have 15 seconds. For the 11th question, Ms. Cortez administered a test to her class and the result is positively skewed. What kind of test do you think Ms. Cortez gave to her pupils? A. Post-test, B. Pre-test, C. Mastery test, D. Criterion reference test. You have 15 seconds. For the 11th question, Ms. Cortez administered a test to her class and the result is positively skewed. What kind of test do you think Ms. Cortez gave to her pupils? A. Post-test, B. Pre-test, C. Mastery test, D. Criterion reference test. You have 15 seconds. For the 11th question, Ms. Cortez administered a test to her class and the result is positively skewed. What kind of test do you think Miss Cortez gave to her pupils? A. Post-test. B. Pre-test. C. Mastery test. D. Criterion reference test. You have 15 seconds. For the 11th question, Miss Cortez administered a test to her class and the result is positively skewed. What kind of test do you think Miss Cortez gave to her pupils? A. Post-test. B. Pre-test. C. Mastery test. D. Criterion reference test. You have 15 seconds. Correct answer is B. Pre-test. A positively skewed distribution means that most students scored low and only a few scored very high, and in addition, the curve stretches to the right, which is the tail is on the positive side. This usually happens when students are not yet familiar with the lesson or skill being measured. They do not have enough prior knowledge, so many of them perform poorly. This situation is typically seen in a pretest, a test given before teaching the lesson. The purpose of a pretest is to find out what students do or do not yet know. So, positively skewed, meaning many low scores, and this happens in a pretest. For the number 12 question, Bernard obtained a 97 percentile rank in an aptitude test. This means A. He answered 97% of the items correctly. B. He belongs to the 97% of the group who took the test. C. 79% of the examinees did better than her on the test. And D. He surpassed 97% of those who took the test. So 15 seconds. The correct answer is D. He surpassed 97% of those who took the test. Because a percentile rank tells us how you performed compared to others, not how many items you got correct. So when Bernard got a 97 percentile rank, it means he did better than 97% of the students who took the same test. It does not mean he answered 97% of the questions correctly. It only means his score is higher than most of his classmates. For example, if 100 students took the test, Bernard is somewhere near the top 3 highest scores because only about 3 students scored higher than him.
For the number 13 questions, which measures shows how spread of the scores are from the mean? A. Mean. B. Median. C. Standard deviation. And D. Mode. For 15 seconds, you can answer. The correct answer is letter C, standard deviation. Standard deviation, it measures how much the score differ from the mean. A small standard deviation means most scores are close to the average, while a large one means score are more spread out. It helps show how consistent or varied the results are. For the number 14 question, which measure of central tendency is least affected by extreme scores? A. Mean. B. Median. C. Mode. And D. Standard deviation. For 15 seconds, You can answer. The correct answer for number 14 is letter B, median. The median is the middle value when scores are arranged in order. It is not affected by extreme scores, making it more reliable than the mean when the data has very high or low values. And lastly, for the number 15 question, if a test has difficulty index of 0.50, what does it indicate? A. The item is too hard. B. The item is too easy. And C. The item has moderate difficulty. And D. The item should be rejected. For 15 seconds, you can answer. And the answer for the number 15 is letter C. The item has moderate difficulty. A difficulty index of 0.50 means about half of the student answer correctly, showing the question is of average difficulty. Such as item are ideal because they differentiate between the high and low performers effectively.
For question number 16, which of the following measures can be determined for quantitative data? A. Mean, B. Median, C. Mode, D. All of this. You have 15 seconds to answer. The correct answer is D. All of this. Quantitative data refers to numerical data. The correct answer is D. All of this. Quantitative data refers to numerical data that can be measured and ordered. Measures of central tendency, mean for average, median for middle value, and mode for most frequent value can be all computed for quantitative data. Therefore, the correct answer is all of this. For question number 17, what is the median of the following numbers? 15, 22, 29, 35, 40, 50, and 55. For the choices, A. 29, B. 35, C. 32, D. 40. You have 15 seconds to answer. The correct answer is The correct answer is B, 35. Since the dataset has 7 values, which is an odd number, the median is simply middle value when the numbers are arranged in order. The fourth number in the sequence is 35, so the median is 35. For question number 18, what does the test mean if the difficulty index is 1? A. Very difficult. B. Very easy. C. Moderately difficult. And D. Average. You have 15 seconds to answer. The correct answer is B, very easy. The difficulty index value or the p-value ranges from 0 to 1. A value of 0
means no one answered correctly. So the item is very difficult. So the value of 1 means everyone answered correctly. So the item is very easy. Values in between like 0.5 indicate moderate or average difficulty. Therefore, if the difficulty index is 1, the test item is very.
For the 19th question, Mr. Gringo tried to correlate the scores of his pupils in the social studies test with their grades in the same subject last third quarter. What test validity is he trying to establish? A. Content validity, B. Construct validity, C. Concurrent validity, or D. Criterion-related validity. So your 15 seconds time start now. So the answer is letter C, concurrent validity. So Mr. Gringo is checking if the current test matches with the past grades, so which are already known. He is comparing two measures at almost the same time in the same subject. So this type of checking is called the concurrent validity. Next question. Which of the following indicates how compressed or expanded distribution of score is? A. Measure of position, B. Measures of central tendency, C. Measures of correlation, D. Measures of variability. You have 15 seconds to answer. So the answer is D. Measures of variability. Variability tells us how spread out or close together the scores are. If the scores are very close, the distribution is compressed. If the scores are very far apart, the distribution is expanded. So, to describe how wide or narrow the scores are, we use measures of variability, like range, variance, and standard deviation. Next question. Mr. Reyes, an elementary school teacher in science, found out that many of his pupils get very high scores in the test. What measure of central tendency should he use to describe their average performance in the subject? A. Mean, B. Median, C. Mode, D. Range. You have 15 seconds to answer. So the answer is letter B, median. When scores are very high and bunched at the top, the distribution becomes skewed or not balanced. For skewed score distributions, the best measure of central tendency is median. Why not mode? Mode only shows the most frequent score, but it does not describe the overall performance if the scores are simply high. Not necessarily all the same. The question says many pupils got high scores, not that they all got the same exact score. So to fairly show the middle performance of the class, use median.
For question 22, which among the following is the most stable index of variability? A. Range, B. Average deviation, C. Quartile deviation, or D. Standard deviation. You have 15 seconds to answer. The correct answer is D. Standard deviation. The question asks for the most stable index of variability. To answer that, we need to know what variability and stable mean. Variability means how spread out or different the scores are. A stable index means it gives a consistent and reliable result even if the data slightly changes. The correct answer is standard deviation because it uses all scores, measures how far each is from the mean, and gives the most reliable and stable picture of variability. For question number 23, kurtosis refers to the blank of the curve of distribution. A. Height, B. Thickness, C. Flatness, or D. All of the above. You have 15 seconds to answer. The correct answer is D. All of the above. Kurtosis describes the shape or stiffness of a frequency distribution curve. In other words, how tall or how flat the curve is. That means kurtosis talks about both height and flatness, which is why the answer is D, all of the above. Number 24. If standard deviation is 0, this means that A. The scores are all the same. B. No two scores are the same. C. All of the scores obtained are 0. Or D. There are the same number of passing and failing scores. You have 15 seconds to answer. The correct answer is A. The scores are all the same. The standard deviation measures how far the scores are from the mean. In short, it shows how spread out the scores are. If the standard deviation is large, the scores are very different from each other. If the standard deviation is small, the scores are close together. While if the standard deviation is 0, that means there is no difference at all. Every score is exactly the same.
Which measure of central tendency is most affected by extreme values or outliers? A. Mean, B. Median, C. Mode, or D. None of the above. You have 15 seconds to answer. The correct answer is A. Mean. Mean uses all values, so very large or very small numbers can pull it up or down a lot.
For the 25th question, which measure of central tendency is most affected by extreme values or outliers? A. Mean, B. Median, C. Mode, and D. None of the above. You have 15 questions to answer. For the 25th question, which measure of central... The answer is letter A. Mean. The mean uses all the numbers in the dataset. So if one number is very large or very small compared to the rest, it can pull the mean up or down. For example, numbers 2, 3, 4, and 100. Mean is equal to 2 plus 3 plus 4 plus 100, and divided by 4 is equal to 109 divided 4 is equal to 27.25. But most values are small, around 2 to 4. The mean looks much bigger because the outlier is 100. For the 26th question, if a dataset has two numbers that occur most frequently, what is the distribution code? A. Unimodal, B. Bimodal, C. Multimodal, and D. Non-modal. You have 15 seconds to answer. The correct answer is B. Bimodal. The mode is the most frequent value. If there are two values that tie for being most frequent, the data is bimodal. For example, numbers 2, 2, 3, 3, and 4. The mode is a 2 and 3. It is a bimodal distribution. For the 27th question, which measure of central tendency is best for categorical data like color, names, or types? A. Mean, B. Median, C. Mode, and D. Average. You have 15 seconds to answer. The answer is letter C. Mode. For categories like colors, brands, or fruits, you can calculate a mean or median because those require numbers. But you can find the mode, which tells you the most common category. For example, the favorite colors is red, blue, blue, and green. The mode is blue, or it is the most chosen color.
For the question number 28, what does a low standard deviation indicate about the data? A. Scores are widely spread out. B. Scores are closely to the mean. C. Scores are mostly high. And D. Scores are mostly low. You can answer for 15 seconds. So the correct answer for number 28 is B. Scores are closely to the mean. A low standard deviation means the most of the scores are very close to the average, which is the mean. This shows that there is a little variation among the results, and the performance of the group is consistent. For example, if students in all class all scores between 78 and 82, the standard deviation will be low, meaning their performance is almost the same. In short, the lower the standard deviation, the more stable and uniform the data is. For the question number 28, what does a low standard deviation indicate about the data? A. Scores are widely spread out. B. Scores are closely to the mean. C. Scores are mostly high. And D. Scores are mostly low. You can answer for 15 seconds. So the correct answer for number 28 is B. Scores are closely to the mean. A low standard deviation means the most of the scores are very close to the average, which is the mean. This shows that there is a little variation among the results, and the performance of the group is consistent. For example, if students in all class all scores between 78 and 82, the standard deviation will be low, meaning their performance is almost the same. In short, the lower the standard deviation, the more stable and uniform the data is. And lastly, for the number 30 question, what is the main purpose of computing the standard deviation? A. To know the most frequent score. B. To measure how consistent the scores are. And C. To find the middle score. And D. To identify the total number of scores. You can answer for 15 seconds. So the answer for the number 30 is letter B, to measure how consistent the scores are. The standard deviation is used to see how much the score vary or differ from the mean. It helps the teachers and researchers know if the data is spread out or clustered together. When the standard deviation is small, it means most of the students perform similarly, their scores are close to each other and consistent. But when it is large, it means the scores are more spread out, showing that students' performance level are very different. In a simple terms, standard deviation measure how consistent, stable, or varied the results are within a group. Well done, future teachers. That's the end of our 50 questions review on central tendency. Continue your review and keep learning. Together, we will reach your goal of becoming a licensed teacher. And that's all. Thank you.